and family. And as you begin walking up the stairs, you hear the pallid steps of Thelsa behind you, mirroring your steps. Maybe just slightly off count, but you can feel someone following you.
Do you need something?
Anywhere to go except for home?
Oh, I suppose you do need a room, huh?
Either here or there.
You'll
Just
forgive me.
somewhere to go.
I seem to have forgotten that you actually need living quarters outside of your family home.
Yeah, I don't have any kind of spectral space I can just hop to.
Give me a moment. I'll speak to Griffin and we'll get you something sorted.
You all sleep here?
When we do sleep, which is rarely, it tends to be here, yes.
Why do you make so much money? Why wouldn't you just stay at a house instead of an inn?
Well, we don't make money. I have some funds set aside. B, there's no better place than a bar or a tavern to gather information regarding adventures, to hear tell of what's going on in the town, to see the inner workings. All that aside, the real reason we've been here so long is that Griffin is a good friend of ours, and when we were first starting out as a group, I say we, mostly me and myself and my former comrades, may God or whoever else resides in Celestia at this point rest their souls. He was very kind to us when we had very little, and he's continued to be kind, and I see no reason why we should stop patronizing him.
I had just figured that, I mean, if you're going to town to use this place, Cauldron, as your home city, that you'd own a house and not forever reside in an inn. I figured that was more suiting. Although, I suppose to each their own, I understand that an inn would be the best place to find information. I just had presumed you'd stop by for information instead of always being here. Pardon me for making assumptions.
People in this town are far less likely to burn down an inn than they would be to burn down our house, so there's that as well.
I suppose you have a point there. Buildings do tend to go up in several types of disaster at any given point, like the entire lower ring. Nobody really saw that one coming until the tentacles were here.
Oh, they all saw it coming. They just chose to do nothing about it.
No, it was far too late for anyone to do anything.
This is true. Let's get you a room sorted, and we can speak of this when we awake.
Okay, that sounds like a better plan. Do you not have property? Like, do you have nothing? I don't. It's so mind-blowing to me.
We own a deed or two here or there. Some may call it ill-gotten gains, the spoils of war, booty.
Klaus is like, Mitch, we got a bat cave. Why are you so thirsty to know?
But these places aren't exactly suited for living at the moment.
This is just even more bizarre to me. You're telling me you own houses, but you reside in an inn.
Houses is a very strong word.
You own buildings. There's not much else here.
Buildings is a very strong word.
What do you own?
They're mostly slabs at this point, and unstable at that. There was an incident with a mechanical worm. Again, we should speak of this when we're more awake.
Oh, Lord. I remember, but I didn't know that was you.
Well, you do now. Welcome to the party.
Klaus, you would probably find that slightly befuddling that she's willing to judge you, considering she just went to hell to fight alongside 4 strangers, yet she can't visit her own family. To hell and back is somehow better than her own family. That would
Look, I get it, all right? I was a farm boy. I was given up for indentured servitude. I totally get it. I'm not one to question one's motives for staying away from their family.
He's just a poor boy. He needs no sympathy.
Damn straight.
All right, so Thelsa, what is your next move? Do you wait for Klaus to guide you to Griffin, giving you a room of sorts, or are you going to continue to judge this geriatric on the steps alone?
Well, I'm going to let him proceed, but judge silently in his footsteps.
Rude ass.
Oh, that's
yeah, that's one of the things that comes up as you're walking in front of me.
Oh, that's so good. Okay, Klaus, you see to Griffin yet again, and I'm assuming that you ask for some kind of lodging for Thelsa for the time being. He'll help. Obviously, he's going to set you up with some room for a night or two, but once you start getting your funds established, then you should probably start paying for your room because, well, it's a business. So
I'll go ahead and toss him over what we know is 1 month's rent in this inn. I don't know what he charges anyone else. Honestly,
Sure.
Not even really sure what he charges us. We just kind of toss money at him every once in a while. So,
well, he didn't charge Cicada anything.
That's true.
I guess that's true.
Because Cicada somehow managed to leave him almost 10,000 gold. Okay, so it was like 5,000 gold on the first occasion, and then like 4,500 gold on the second occasion. And at this point, Griffin's like, I hope it comes back and dies again. I need a new wagon.
It's like he wins the lottery every time, but he knows Cicada died.
Yeah, it's like,
So
oh
honestly,
no.
At this
Happy
point, I'm
with
shocked
that.
he's not like a minor baron.
no, it's like that racist great uncle you had that died one time, and you got a lot of money. You didn't like him that much anyway, so it really wasn't that much of a loss.
As far as I'm aware, a person can live semi-comfortably for a year on a piece of gold.
No.
Well, I'm not sure how the economy works in this particular universe.
It's generally that you would find an NPC and you start taking their profession an average of 3, and their payment is per the week. They generally garner about 5 gold a week. That is someone that is like a leather crafter, a tanner, a blacksmith. Obviously, if they produce more valued equipment, they're going to have more money, but in this case, they average between 5 and 10 gold a week. A tavern owner probably gets a little bit more, but they put it out just as quickly, considering they have to, I don't know, buy new tables when shitheads come in and destroy them, or buy new floorboards when shitheads come in and cast black tentacles up and blow the floorboards out.
Too bad they can't
The
buy
hazards
kids.
of running a business, right?
Yeah. I mean, in a world filled with magic, they only have to worry about a handful of assholes, I guess. But yeah, you're right. He could probably be a baron at this point, and there is a reason that he's not living a very lavish lifestyle. Obviously, he's a single parent. Obviously. I mean, you guys know why.
He is now.
Yeah.
We know.
And he has 2 young sons. Well, one is significantly younger than the other, and he can only do so much. Like his dream was to run his father's business, and in this case, the tavern is sort of their thing. But it's not his sons, right? Especially Elliot. There's Elliot and Jimothy. Elliot was the younger one, and he wants to study monsters, right? Like he wants to go off to an established college of sorts, like a bard's college or something like that. That's not cheap. They don't just get to walk in, and it's going to take some esteem and finances to roll that one over.
Well, hey, then in this case, we're about to go ahead and clear some of his financial future.
Elaborate?
Oh, the fact that we've pretty much kind of almost sort of maybe killed his youngest.
God damn it. Alright, Jacob, lose a level.
I'm sorry. My fault for looking at the silver lining.
Sorry about your son. You get to save $1. Yeah, like, Jacob's such a twat.
I'll tell you what.
College
We'll
was
give you
really
the
expensive
5,000
anyway.
We'll give you the 5,000 gold cash, but you lose your son. How's that sound?
That's fucking awful.
This is the worst would you rather ever.
Yeah, no joke,
Stay a
man.
while and listen.
Oh my god. Chris
All right,
Political,
5,000 gold is too much. How
Chris
about
Political
5,000?
and Cygap266, thank you so much for the follows, guys. I appreciate that. Welcome to the fam. Yeah, so he'll set you up with a room. You'll pay for the month for him. Super excited. That just means obviously more money coming into the inn. Plus, you've got to realize that like he's not a well-read individual. He never ran the books. That was kind of his wife's gig. He's just there for a hospitality manager. That's kind of his thing. But yeah, that's kind of it. You guys can continue to do your thing. Thelsa, do you wish to judge further? Are you going to see Klaus to his room? Are you going to go off to your own?
Once we're headed up towards the rooms, I would pull Klaus aside one more time to mention something. Klaus, sometime in the near future, I would like to check out the establishments you own. If nothing other than create some sort of livable space before we head off on another adventure. I understand you guys like it here, but I don't want to live in an inn forever.
We'll discuss setting up living quarters when everyone's around. I believe it more of a group discussion than something you and I should just go ahead and do.
Well, you're the one with the money, and I mean, nobody likes the other ones anyways. And then we're gonna smile and turn and walk away.
Not gonna correct you.
She a cutthroat little bitch. Well, you're the one with the money.
Go for the juggler.
I like it. I approve. Okay,
Wait, did you mean jugular? Because you definitely said juggler.
I definitely intended to say juggler.
Okay.
By the way.
I
do know it's jugular.
you should have just stuck with juggler and just go with it. Go for the juggler. Just I like it. I approve.
Yeah, can't trust no fucking juggler.
Oh, too good. All right, back at the St. Cuthbert's, dealing with that meat wagon over there. You're gonna alter the tones yet again. Boom, bam. You've waited 15, 20 minutes with trepidation.
With trepidation and a bit of a pounding heart and trace of hope in my eye. And having been measuring the bone and seeing if there's been any growth off the flesh itself, what am I finding?
You'll find that your fears are confirmed. That it does seem to have moved, shifted, or grown ever slightly. At this point, the boy has returned with the reagents, and you can begin performing the acts, allowing her to do so, or you could tell her to stop entirely. It's kind of your call.
Oh. And of course, poor Jared, his main concern is the fact that he has no idea whatsoever what is causing this. Because, I mean, this could be some kind of demon STD.
You're
but
not
the
wrong.
fact that but no, thinking about his friend's well-being and what it would do to him to lose a limb, he's just going to look to Jenya. I have no idea what's going on. None whatsoever. But there's a chance.
Do I. But what?
If there's a chance that he is somehow, some way mending on his own from this, I think we have to stay our hand.
I don't even know what else I would be doing right now.
I think at this point all we can do is just observe, make sure he doesn't...
Do you think he's going to grow just another hand, an arm? Maybe just a hand at the stump? Perhaps he doesn't even grow a human hand. You said that this happened in Occipitus, in Hell. If that's true, what's to prevent him from growing like a hook, a saber of sorts?
No idea whatsoever. Keep in mind, this is not something I have run across before either. But it is something that I'm willing to go ahead and let continue. So at this point, I think all we should do is just keep him unconscious, keep him comfortable, and make sure he doesn't take fever.
I'll do everything in my power, but this is a territory I'm widely unfamiliar with. It's not often that those that stumble in needing aid just begin regrowing their own bones. Should I apply anything at all?
I would imagine something to go ahead and prevent infection. That's all I can really think of. He would kind of look around for Sunn, but seeing that little alcoholic shit ran off, he's just going to sit back. At this point, just keep the wound clean. Keep him unconscious. Make sure he has no fever. Should something change, we can always tend the wound at that point. But I'm unsure if this is something that would continue despite us interacting, or if we were to mend his arm, if this would just split painfully. At this point, we have to sit and just observe. And he's going to wipe down his face and pull over a chair, dropping down next to the table. I badly need to sleep.
Jacob, give me a will save with a -8 to the roll.
Will save -8. Damn. Didn't think I was that bad. All right. See if I can just go ahead and find will saves on here. So just need a -8 from that. Oh, damn! That was bad. 4.
Yikes. Yikes. That's rough. Okay,
That was not a good roll.
You have not. You've not had good sleep. You've been going through the fires and the flames of Occipitus, the adversity of demonic forces. You've got some things weighing on your mental scope, finding out that you were the one that was entirely by accident, but you were the one that brought down Occipitus, or Celestia as you know it.
Yeah, I kind of ruined everything.
Yeah,
just by being what I am.
Yes. Yeah, you did, just by existing, which it seems like this is a common point for you. And it's something that you find oftentimes is absolute and utter horseshit, how you keep being the pony boy for everything, courtesy of your lineage. It's something that's been on your mind frequently. as you're watching over and you're going through all these thoughts over and over and over again, thinking of how it could have played differently if you had just done something, anything differently, you peer over to your ally, the one person that's believed in you, thought you to be capable, thought you to be more than your skin, or at least more than the value of that. Saw through the bullshit, knew you as a brother. As you watch over him, not knowing what he's becoming, what he once was, you begin to see things. Your vision seems to grow hazy, and you notice that his skin seems to almost move with a slight undulation. You feel like it's something that you want to almost yell about, like you want to scream, do something about it, but as you try to compel your body to move forward, you are incapable. In fact, when you look down, instead of seeing your own hands, you see your own crown. You realize that you're exhibiting some kind of paralysis, and you're looking beyond yourself into this third-person perspective, watching from above, and you witness your friend's body begin to undulate, to writhe. And it takes you a moment to realize, but the wound on his open arm begins to shift. There is mild contortion, and then you see it. At first it's 1, then 2 to 3 more. Worms begin to crawl from his arm. They move into a position that seems to elongate, almost extending the length of his arm itself. But they seem to freely flow into position of which makes up the rest of his person, the rest of his arm. Slowly, you see his arm raise up, this writhing bouquet of worms. And as it leans down, it clutches at his collarbone, at his chest, and it pulls his body forward. And as they begin to lean in, and you're witnessing this, you see Jenya frozen in the moment, incapable of responding. You see the boy in the corner, stuck in the pit of terror and fear. The body of Ulhime rescinds forward, and as it does so, the hand lurches forward slowly, like it's grasping out to you, as if it's trying to reach for your person. This haze, this amalgamation of worms and your best friend seems to twist and contort in front of you. Worms are freely falling from his open maw, his eyes, while open, completely pale and blank. He touches you, and as the mouth begins to move, more worms begin to fall. You hear a voice. You know what he's becoming, boy. I am him. And he is mine. Give me a new will save, please.
Not that much better.
Jakob,
Okay.
you spry to a waking position, and as you do so, you startle those around you. Enough so that where you were sitting at the foot of this table, you've managed to throw your body backwards, fumbling back out of the chair, and an absolutely frozen in this fear-riddled body of yours. When you glance up, sweat beads down your face, and you see that Jenya watches on, not knowing what to expect, her eyes trained and focused on you. She glances over the boy, who's also kind of like holding on to various unguents, not sure what to do. When you look over at Ulhime, you see that his body lay completely still. You're shaken. The fear courses through your body. Adrenaline drives your every move right now. What do you do, Jakob?
Given the fact that I've just stood up, and I would imagine that, of course, Ulhime is not sitting up and everything. That was a vision that I had. But heaving breaths, sweat just pouring down my brow, and feeling that cold shudder along my spine, I'll slowly start to let go of the hilt of the bastard sword from my hip, swallowing thickly and, trying to...
As you slowly begin to lower your bastard sword, swallowing down your fear in that moment, and trying to wrestle back these emotions that you're having, give me a perception check. This is just a persistent periphery check.
That'd be a 12. God, I'm rolling 1s and 2s tonight.
You are, in fact. You notice something move over his face. Where he lies, something seems to shift. And you can't quite make out what it is. When you turn your glance back abruptly, it's not there. It's no longer there. Whatever it was is gone. Jenya moves over to you while your gaze is transfixed. Is everything all right? Do you need some attention as well?
Apologies, Jenya. No, I think it was just a bad dream, but it did bring something to mind that I may have forgotten to mention. And at this point, he'll kind of look at her curiously. Oh, God, and I'm trying to remember. Is it the Order of the Living Worm, or... See if I can't go ahead and pull up our notes. But no, while we were down in Occipitus, we did run across this creature.
And what creature was that? As you kind of like lean down, trying to sort of like filter through your thoughts. It's like you're trying to find the right words. You're like, it was this. It's like it's lingering.
He's going to kind of sit down again after riding his chair, covering his face in his hands. I can't remember what he called himself offhand, but it was a man made of worms.
Worms, you say?
Yes. His entire being were these worms, and at the core of them was this dark crystal, I remember.
Dark and crystal?
Yes, some dark gem. But regardless, what finally brought it to mind? He stilled us, and he fed these worms to us. I know he mentioned what he was. I think I'm just far too tired to remember. But is there anything to ward off a parasite?
As you kind of, you're covering your face. Like, is there anything at all? You're You're stuck in this clouded visage that you're not quite sure exactly what it is. When you feel her hand drape over your shoulder. And it's like she's trying to comfort you. And when she says this, she kind of leans down and it's like almost like she wants to put her forehead to yours, which is something it's an experience that takes you to a different place. It's a certain amount of trust when you put your forehead to another person's forehead. It's almost an intimate moment that you can't quite glean elsewhere. When you hear the voice, "You mean a worm that walks?" Give me a will save.
God, why do you keep asking me for rolls? We know what I roll. Well, that's better.
Jacob, when you look up to her immediately, she opens her mouth and begins vomiting worms over your body. This haze of motion blur around you, as your vision seems to cloud up, and this volatile feeling of your body being swarmed multiple times over.
Why can't he just have dreams about big-titted tiefling girls or something like that?
Jacob, you go unconscious.
Oh, yeah.
Passing the buck back to Thelsa and Klaus. All right, lads. Oh boy. In fact, we're gonna go to this one here. I like this one better. All right, Thelsa. Thelsa. You find yourself at the tankard. You are alone in your tiny room. There's not much here. There's a very small window that likely does not open. A chamber pot in the corner. A very clean pot and basin for you to wash your body. And what looks to be a very small cot. This is likely the lowest form of living that you've had to be a part of, outside of roughing it as an adventurer. Since you've been back in Cauldron with your family, it's even in your quote-unquote hovel, you have a full-sized bed with clean sheets. You actually have you have a quote-unquote bathroom. You have maid service in your house, despite you being punished to do things for your sisters over and over again. It's very much a Cinderella complex.
Yeah, I'm mostly just going to be sitting on my bed and, like, tapping my feet together, not knowing really what to do, because I never have downtime. Because when I'm not out adventuring, I'm slaving away at home, so now I'm kind of feeling relaxation, which is a little bit out of the norm. I don't feel pressured by anything, but also, you know, I have an odd assortment of items that I don't really have a way to carry very well. So I kind of just have those sitting out, and I'm just kind of, I'm chilling out. I'm enjoying my time off, so to speak.
Okay. Do you just expect Jakob and Ulhime to come back? Is this something that you're hoping is going to happen? What happens to Sunn? He's cardboarded out right now. Do you take Sunn and do horrible, dirty things to him?
Yeah, I'm going to pass on that. Unless horrible, dirty things are like throwing him into the sewers with that, the gutter monster. Those are lovely.
And I'll
oh, come on. Steal the boy's innocence. Make a man out of him.
I'll pass 9 days at a time.
So you mean there's a chance?
Yeah, just not today.
You monster.
I'd probably set my stuff aside, and after a little while, I'd start to get bored because I can't sit still. And so I'd probably make my way out, and I figure they were headed over to Jenya's. Just because, well, of all the churches in Cauldron, that's the only one that's been swarmed by several types of enemies.
Well, Thelsa, you know that there are multiple churches and cathedrals in this town. It's not just St. Cuthbert's, though they have, for multiple reasons, said that they would be going to St. Cuthbert's. I just wanted to tell you that in this particular town there is the Temple of Cord. There is the High Place of Weejas. There's St. Cuthbert's. Hell, there's a temple to Palor, right? Like, it's not as if they are without in this town. So you do have options. Not all of those are good gods, for the record.
Yeah. I would probably head over just to check out how the other two party members are doing, because as much I know I need sleep, it's, not quite time for that yet. I'd rather wait a while and kind of get my bearings and make sure everyone's doing all right before I retire.
Sure. I mean, it's mother the group. You're significantly younger, right? Like, Klaus is, for all intents and purposes, running in the oldest living human body in probably the world. Probably the world, to be honest.
Well, living is a stretch of the term.
Non-decaying body.
I have a pulse. Thank you very much.
Klaus has a pulse. Klaus definitely has a pulse. This body lacked a pulse for quite a long time.
Gotta shake some of the dust off,
That's right. Cobwebs and all that. So.
Like a good bottle of wine.
God damn it. Thelsa.
Yeah.
You make your way over to St. Cuthbert's. Let's go ahead and roll for me. Go ahead and give me a 33% range you do not want.
I'm going to say 67 to up.
67 to up?
Yeah, so to the other way.
Okay. Give me a 10% range that you would like.
40 to 50.
Close. Not quite on the money. All right. You take advantage of this time. You make your way across town. You know exactly where St. Cuthbert's is. There's zero opposition, no chance encounters, and you find your way into the establishment. Thelsa, Innie, in this case, you've heard what's just happened to Jakob. You've heard what's happened to Ulhime. You have some familiarities with this creature, the worm that walks. You're at least under the knowledge that it's wildly powerful. Describe the situation to me when you walk into St. Cuthbert's. What does this look like?
I figured I'd come in at the point where he's still, like, shocked after having woken up. Or when did I come in? Like,
this was you would be walking in following the events, following Jacob's visions.
He's still sleeping, I presume.
Ulhime or Jakob?
Jakob.
Okay. And by sleeping, do you just mean unconscious?
Yes, sorry,
okay.
Unconscious. He's not awake right now.
All right.
And
so what is he? Is he like? Is this like a stigmata situation? Is he exhibiting signs of some kind of like holy Mars on his body? Is he? Do you find him like face down and Jenya is dumping water on him? What does this look like?
Probably it's going to be something like she is going to get aid because all of a sudden he fell on the floor, and from what I can only imagine was exhaustion, something along the lines, maybe worry, or I don't know what's come along, but I know that Jakob looks the same, or not Jakob, Ulhime looks the same as when I saw him last, so I figure nothing much has come of it yet. So, I'm likely going to make my way forward and just try and make some adjustments and see what's going on with the two of them, or make some, some observations. That's the word I was looking for. Make some observations of what's going on with them, because I didn't really expect Jakob to be sleeping here, especially when I just had the talk with Klaus about sleeping at the inn, which was just down the street.
Okay, that's fine. When you walk in and you see that he's unconscious, Ulhime still lays sprawled out on the table. Jenya looks over to you and sees you kind of looking at them, and she says, Is there anything I can help you with? Are you with them, perchance?
Yeah, I'm with them, but when I came in, I only expected one of them to be unconscious, frankly.
He sat down after we noticed some oddities in this character, and I don't know what happened. I looked away for a moment, and when I looked back, his mouth was agape, and he was drooling.
I don't fully understand why. I know not much of what they do when they're here, but that doesn't really sound like what I know of him so far. Drooling, was he just, like, out of it? Or was he, well, I don't know. Did he seem like he was conscious fully?
He was definitely conscious. We spoke. We've been monitoring his this man's limb, and it's when we noticed that, well, it's growing something, and
it's
yes, no, yes, it is. It's
brush over that.
No. Well, look, take a look for yourself. Then just look. There's something growing in the pit of where the limb once was, and she shows you. And there's some kind of like, it sort of looks like a mossy green spiral. Not like, I don't actually mean mossy, but like the color of the dark forest green. There's something that seems to be manifesting from the wound itself. And we've monitored it. It's actually moving. It's shifting in size.
Did he touch it or something? Did Jakob touch it?
Not to my knowledge, no.
I don't understand why he'd all of a sudden break out into such a fit. I can't explain any of this, I'm sorry, any more than you could. And I figured you probably have no idea either, but, well, from what I've gathered with my short time with these crew, there's nothing I can really expect from them. Everything kind of comes as a surprise until someone explains it to me.
Thelsa, there seems to be an eruption.
That is cruel.
There's an eruption of coughs coming from Ulhime. In his unconscious stupor, there's sort of like this explosion of coughs. Ulhime, you find yourself rousing awake, exceedingly parched. Your tongue is dry, your throat is dry. It hurts to talk. But as you begin waking, you'll notice the extreme lack of mobility in your right arm. And there is a lingering, whirring pain that drives from your elbow shaft to the shoulder.
Getting my senses about me, I'll look down and kind of just turn away, like, suddenly just seeing what happened.
Water. She quickly divines some sort of a cup And she, without much thought, she dips it into a pot of water and passes it to you, Thelsa.
I would kind of gently feed him the water, not drown him, but
Sure.
I don't know how much control he's got over his limb at the moment, so
I'll grab it with my right hand as she extends it out, and then take a drink to get my mouth moist again.
It's very difficult at first, but you manage to do just that. Some of your salivation begins coming back. You feel the natural lubricant of spit assists in this, but you just needed something to sort of wet the whistle.
Did we win?
I suppose yes. The explosion of and I'm just gonna point at his stub of that whole debacle kind of blacked everybody out, and when they came to, we I'm gonna let Klaus explain it all once we meet up with him again. I'm sure he has a better understanding.
There's nothing to explain. Don't worry about it.
We're all alive.
Good. And then, looking over to Jakob, Ulhime's going to take his right hand and slap him.
Sure. You
Hey.
take your. Would you say that your left or your right is your dominant hand? Whatever.
My left hand is my dominant hand, which is
Okay.
gone. My right hand is one of them.
Sure.
So I'll pat him awake.
You give him a good limp wristed slap,
Yeah, now it's Pat.
attempting to jar him.
I was about to say, first thing you do waking up, you bitch slap your best friend.
Ulhime, you'll notice that there is, first and foremost, there are a couple of things to point out. One, the level of energy in your body is almost nil. You find yourself to be terribly exhausted.
Yeah.
Secondly, Jacob's been through the ringer more times than he cares to even properly admit. He's probably fairly exhausted himself. You'll also note that there is some blood mixed in with the spittle that's sort of drooling down the right side of his face as his head kind of limply hangs. He isn't just sleeping. There's not some kind of snore attached to this. He's unconscious.
Okay. So, looking at my hand, and remembering the voice that I heard before I went under, I'll look over to Jenya. I need you to do two things for me. First, for my friend. See to it that he gets necessary treatment. Second, do you know of anyone of higher divine healing outside of our church?
I believe that you could go to Palos and find someone there. I don't suppose why that would be a problem. Is there something wrong with what I'm capable of?
If you cannot purge evil, then you will not be able to help me with this. And he shows his arm. The creature known as the worm that walks dwells within me. I must be rid of him. Keep him safe. And then he looks to Thelsa, and I mean he's tired, but he's going to start.
You may not find much assistance at Palos. I believe that you should probably seek out Asvelkir at Cords.
Asvelkir at Cords. Where's Cords?
Let me get a map, actually. See if I can tell you. From where you are versus where you've got to go. I gotta open up the map of Reno.
No problem.
Temple of Lordly Might. is on
That would be
Obsidian
0.25.
Avenue. Yeah. Is on Obsidian Avenue. It is right here. This building right here. That's it.
Got it.
So,
Very well.
really, it's like right around the corner.
It's not too far. It shouldn't take you very long.
Do you have a walking stick, by chance? A crutch I can use?
Yes, that shouldn't be a problem. I can provide you with that. Are you sure you want to go alone? I suppose your ally couldn't go with you.
Yes, I can go with you. I don't know if Jacob's okay, but he's in good hands, I believe.
If he wakes before then, tell him where I went. I must go. And then he starts making his trudge to Cords, to the Temple of Palor.
Okay. And I missed that. Did you say that you were going with him or not?
I would be headed out. I know he told me not to, but I was gonna go anyways.
I mean, it wasn't really you can't go. It wasn't.
It wasn't if I don't go. But yeah.
Yeah, if you go, cool. If not, cool. Yeah. But yeah, making my way through the streets.
Yeah, sure.
Obviously clothed at this point. I'm not gonna fucking walk out naked.
Sure. Ulhime,
So.
you have been a guard of this town for quite a while, and you notice moments after you leave the church that the town is
Empty.
shy of a few people. It seems to be vacant in many areas where it was once boisterous with life. It now seems to be rather empty. Which doesn't make much sense to you because 2 days ago it had life.
It was bustling.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm going to go ahead and
Kind of
give
making
you
my way-
a 33% chance. Go ahead and give me a 33% chance out of 100.
1 to 33.
Give me a 10% chance.
1 to 10.
Okay. You're just fine. You managed to make it across town without any opposition. Same goes for you, Thelsa. When you arrive at the Temple of Cord. Go ahead.
But before then, I wanted to, as we were walking, if I happen to run into someone close enough, being as tired as I am, I would ask. The population seems lighter.
Okay, so
What happened?
A couple of things. One, nobody's going to talk to you.
Okay, they're gonna. That's right. I'm an orc. Working for that.
You're a half-orc, which at the time, half-orcs are generally seen in the populace as...
No, I'm a full-blooded orc.
Oh, even better. So you're either listed as a non-approachable strong arm or a full-on slave.
Okay.
In which case, you would either be treated as squalor, less than that, or they would be absolutely like piss their pants afraid of you.
Okay.
So yeah, they're not even gonna treat you as
even
in any regard.
Okay. So they're like walking the long route around.
Oh yeah, they're taking the long road home.
All right. So I mean, even kind of catching on to that, it's kind of one of those things I had to just forget about for now. But looking at the doors, the windows, are they boarded up, or are the homes just vacant? Like, is it?
Ulhime, you'll note that there seems to be a guard stationed out front.
I'll approach.
As you approach the guard, the moment that he sees you, he draws his halberd forward in offensive action.
I'll stay at a distance.
State your intentions.
What happened to the town? Where's the population?
What do you mean, what happened to the town? The town is just fine.
Look around, man. The streets, they're barren. And it's midday.
How would you know
This is not
if the streets are supposed to be barren or not? Well, I've seen you lot in this town. You're not often welcome here. Who keeps you?
Would I know that orcs would have to be slaves and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's pretty common knowledge at this time.
Okay. I'll just kind of point to the. I'll point over to Thelsa.
Yes. He is mine.
All right. He seems to slowly lower his halberd in confusion. You let your orcs speak for you. Don't you know it's out of kind? You're not supposed to interfere. He follows behind, especially in front of a lady. You fucking oaf.
He's in pain, and I figure he's no good to me in this state, so I need to seek help immediately. Because I look at my clothing, I can't afford many full-blooded orcs like this one. But he's right. Where is everybody tonight? It is quite quiet.
Seemingly, you've managed to pull this over on him, or at least he doesn't seem to care that much. He kind of lowers his battle standard of halberd to his side. People been leaving town the past few days. They said things is too tight. The tension is too much for them. It's not the same place that it once was when the great Cerebar Spell Mason roamed these lands. I say bugger off to a lot of them, because it means it's more for me than mine.
Why would they leave? Why? What is making them feel unsafe?
What do you mean? What makes them feel unsafe?
It's the undead threat.
You ain't been in town. You don't know what's happening. People been dying around Crater Lake. We've got children and animals going missing. They said that there's children that stalk in the night, picking people off one by one with silver eyes. On top of that, we have these piss-driven half-orcs who seem to be running the rest of the guard when we're not. Hell, the best man in town's recently passed away. Mr. Tercion Skellerang himself. And now we're being led by his foolhardy brother that we're supposed to just swallow is the next best thing. Well, I say that's drivel. You could piss right off the whole lot of them. On top of that, to make matters worse, you can't just been storming the gates. You've been coming in, taking our jobs, and sending the rest of us that aren't as well-formed with that bastard the Blue Duke.
I apologize, friend. But you are more capable than you realize, even if others will tell you you're not. Keep your chin high, and keep your wits about you.
Sod off. Watch your slave, ma'am.
Yes, I will. Pardon me for...
Kind of, even with what he says, I look to him. May Helm watch your back.
You know, that...
And then he kind of...
That being said, can I get a perception, please, for both of you?
Six.
Not 6.
Thelsa, you will see that there seems to be a wanted poster with Klaus on it.
Which Klaus?
Various depictions of Klaus. Someone with a somewhat extensive knowledge. He's listed as a grave robber.
Interesting. Does it say who commissioned the bounty?
Jared Skellerang.
Okay, well, I'm not
That
gonna mention
dick.
immediately, but I'm gonna take note for when I go and talk to him again.
Build a higher wall!
As he's looking at the poster, I'll pocket it. I'll pull the poster and just roll it up. Well, I'll pull the poster and just hand it over to her. I can't roll it.
Yeah.
At the moment. But I'll hand it over. We'll figure this out later. Come on. And we'll continue onward to the church.
Okay.
And as we're on our way, and I notice that there isn't anyone around, I'm gonna say, I'm sorry for having you assume role of my slave, but unfortunately, it's kind of the easiest way to get you around town.
It's nothing to worry about.
Okay.
You have nothing to feel bad for. We need to find a way to change the perceptions of a lot of people in this town. By Helm's Blade, I will do that.
This Blue Duke guy needs to go. He's been
doesn't need to go. He just needs a different perspective. Something better to look forward to.
I think he needs a perspective 6 feet under.
I'm not in the habit of killing those who do not deserve it.
Nor am I. But, you know, some people do deserve it.
We'll talk more of this later.
Yes. We can't
let us be on our way.
This with guards around.
So you enter into the Temple of Cord.
Yes.
As you enter into the establishment, the Temple of Cord, you see that it seems to be fairly well taken care of. It's not in the same momentary disrepair that you had seen inside of St. Cuthbert's. So this place is... Okay, so Cord's is literally listed as the Temple of Mighty Strength. Okay? So when you see this pragmatic leader, the Asfelkir Hronlert, as you've seen him, he is a stoic man. Broad chest, wide jaw. He's an easy sell on the public. You see him having a conversation with someone you can identify as he has the standard of Cord basically hewn into his robes. Very easy to point him out. But you notice an individual talking with him. Thelsa.
Yep.
You've seen this man. You can't quite pin where, but you know that he's a fairly prominent figure in the town. Do you approach these two?
When we were approaching, I try and discern who it was, just from memory. But if I can't recall, I will just approach them.
Okay. As you approach, they seem to lock hands in union to shake, right? And they seem to be shaking. And you hear the Asfelkir Hronlert, or at least the leader of the church of the Temple of the Mighty Cord. He says, "Thank you, Master Arlental. You've done a good thing for this town. Your services do not go unnoticed." And he leans in. Give me perception, please, the both of you. Wow, okay. Ulhime and Thelsa alike. With Ulhime has a natural 20 on a 23, and Thelsa has a 35. You'll both pick up on this information. He seems to lean in, and with nobody around, at least nobody that he perceives as an immediate threat, he seems to mutter some words. But you just happen to catch them. Ulhime, you would not have gotten it had you not received a natural 20. Thelsa only got it by 5. It's quite literally a muddled whisper. He says, "The Temple of Cord recognizes all that you do with the chisel, and we thank you." The man nods, and he says, "Thank you, Asfelkir. We appreciate all that you've done for our family. You notice he lingers on family in a very odd fashion. We'll be in touch, I can assume. Yes, that will be fine. Thank you again. That will end congregation for this day. And then everybody seems to kind of take their belongings, at least the few that seem to be there, and they begin to exit the building. You'll see the man with a darker skin, a bit of a poignant amount of chin hair, and what looks to be like a little soul patch. He seems to be a little aged, but he's dressed very, very nicely. When he sees you, each of you, he nods, even to you, Ulhime, despite your character disposition. Give me a Wisdom plus D20, Thelsa. Wisdom mod plus D20. Break 10?
Nope.
Yeah, you can't quite point out where you've seen this character. Remember, there's also Desperation, if you wanted to use that in an attempt to recall who this might be.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Ulhime, you've been in the town for a while. I keep forgetting that. Go ahead and you can potentially discern this as well. D20 plus your Wisdom mod. Break 10. Hey, just enough. Just enough. You realize that this man, Mr. Arlenthal, is a very successful merchant in the town. He's brought prosperity in times of economical despair. So with this man that's brought this prosperity to the town, this is Mavu Arlenthal. Mavu's returned despite being a wanted man, at least the last you can recall.
It's Mavu Arlenthal, like the full name?
Yeah. It's Arlintal, Mavu Arlenthal. He nods to each of you, and he makes his way for the door, exiting as per normal. You guys could stop him if you desired. It's kind of your call. If not, no biggie. He doesn't really know either of you, so it's not any skin off his back.
I will... Well, he's the one who runs the Temple of Horde, right?
Mavu? No, that's not. Mavu runs Mavu Import-Export, the remember the place that was destroyed by the Bandersnatch?
Okay.
Was that the Bandersnatch? I feel like that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was the one who was running the temple?
Asfelkir. That's Asfelkir. Asfelkir. The Temple of Lordly Might. This is Kord's temple, the Temple of Lordly Might.
I mean, seeing that he's known as a prominent figure that has helped the town, I will just give him a nod and say, "Thank you for all of your service."
He's not used to being greeted by, I guess,
an orc,
an orc of sorts. So he kind of gives like an upturned grin, like, and he nods back to you. He doesn't really acknowledge you much further than that. And then you see that the prominent figure, it is Asfelkir Hranlert himself. He turns to you, opens his arms after a brief moment. Welcome to the Temple of Lordly Might. How can I help you? See this very boisterous, like, voice-carrying individual. He's human. He's got a fairly clean-kept beard. His hair it seems to be, like, drawn back over his head. It's like, red. He's very much so a ginger. He's got freckles across his face. It's drawn back with what looks like animal fat, anything that can kind of keep it back. He's regarded as handsome. Remember, handsome is easy to sell to the people.
Not really trying to cut around corners. I'll make this very simple. I have a corruption within me that needs to be purged. And I was told that you were the only one capable of doing it.
A corruption, a sickness. I might be able to assist you. Where is your owner?
I'm here.
I'll just put my right hand over. The form that you see is not my own. I have no owner. I'm not actually an orc.
Oh.
But I will say again that I do have a corruption within me. A creature known as the worm that walks dwells within. And I need him purged.
Give me a perception. Okay.
19?
He seems to kind of look over to you, confused for a moment, watching your explanation of this quote-unquote worm that walks, and he pauses. I feel like I've heard of this before, this worm that walks. Why, is this a blight? Is this something that ails you?
Currently, yes. I believe he vies for control of my body.
Well, the power of Cord can undo all that is wrong in your life and your world. If I could take a moment, though, I would like to find out a bit more about you. You said that this is not who you are, that this is some sort of mirage, an image.
You might have seen me before. That's the Temple of Ceremony. I am Ulhime, Shieldbearer.
Forgive me, it's a name that I am unfamiliar with.
There's nothing to worry about, but I am a dwarf.
How did this problem come about you?
It's a long story, but we had traveled to the Abyss.
Who is we? Is anyone else injured? Sick?
Me and my companions, but no. Not at the moment. Just me.
Your companions. There are more of you. I would like to see you all. If this is something that you have brought back to the town of sickness, you may have brought this back upon everyone else that is here.
I can vouch for the others. I was the only one afflicted. Please. Can you help me?
I might be able to help you. I may be able to. But I would still like to see the rest of your companions. Are you a part of an adventuring party? A group? Sell swords?
There's 4 of us.
Then call them. Call them here. I would like to meet with them.
There.
Sure.
Thelsa, can I get a sense motive, please, from the both of you?
Sense motive, you said?
Yes.
Oof.
29.
9.
Ulhime, you can't quite place his intentions. It seems very odd, slightly standoffish of him to request to see the allies and not just treat you for your ailment. Not that he doubts you. You can clearly tell that he's not doubting you, but you don't really understand why he would request to see the allies.
Why is meeting them a requirement of yours?
It's what I ask. If you wish upon a blessing of Cord, be it a man of his word, I ask that there is some recompense. And I can't live with myself knowing that you could have brought something back for my people.
Very well. Thelsa, I cannot run any longer.
Yes.
I will stay here. Can you please bring the others?
Seek the other 2. I will be back shortly.
Ulhime will take a seat at one of the pews and they'll wait.
Okay. That's fine.
And I'm gonna go get Sunn and Jakob.
Sure.
Slowly.
Klaus as well?
Nope, I'll leave him there.
Yeah, she's just like, nah, fuck that old geriatric.
And I'm taking 2 people. Like, I'm trying to implant the idea that there's only 4 of us, because why would he know? I just don't want to bring him through town knowing there's wanted posters everywhere.
Oh, come on.
That's not something Thelsa wants to deal with. I mean, by all means, if they want to.
That's
Well,
alright.
if you weren't robbing graves all the damn time.
You would say that. Jared, motherfucker.
He's just upset because it's his dad.
Make Cauldron great again.
God damn it, make Cauldron.
Yeah, so I'm going to gather Sunn, and then probably we'll carry the unconscious Jakob over, because I don't think he's regained consciousness yet. If he does, well, then he can walk, because I don't want to carry him.
If he hasn't regained consciousness, he can walk.
If he has, not hasn't.
Okay.
I should probably just let Sunn carry him anyways, because Sunn's, I don't know, roided out half the time.
Alright. Thelsa, as you exit the establishment, leaving the Temple of Lordly Might, you see that there is a figure, a woman. She seems to be moving with intent directly into Cord's temple. She is armored to the teeth, helmet on her side, and she has a halberd. This is the second in command. She refers to herself as Ms. Green, second in command, only to Tercion Skellerang.
Yeah. Yeah, well, a couple of my characters have been familiar with her. Not so much this one.
Sure. She seems to have some pointed business with the temple. However, as she seems to be making her way, she is met by 2 to 3 other guards. As you're passing by, give me a perception.
$24.
Thelsa, you go not widely known in this town. You are practically a nobody to the guards. They don't know who you are. You don't have reputation that follows you. But what you do over here is that the guard walks up to Kiana Green. And they say, Miss Green, we have reports that someone has returned to the town. That someone of being exactly whom you know of which. And she looks at him for a brief moment before you see her nod. And as you're passing by, she says, fetch him. And be warned. He's capable of using electricity, bending it at his will. You'll find him at the Tip Tankard. And despite his age, don't hold back. And the 3 guards turn, and they start making their way directly over to the Tip Tankard. And that's actually where I'm going to call tonight's session.
Damn.
I'm going to end us right there.
Poor Klaus on his own, running solo. All of a sudden, just a bunch of guards kick in the door, and they're just like, "Get the old man!"
You know.
So, it was a little bit of a different kind of session tonight. It wasn't one that was filled with slashing and hacking and all of these wild things that you guys have been so used to the last couple of sessions. You're not walking through hell, but the landscape has changed. The environment is very different. It is not the same place that you had left 2 days prior. It's become something more. It continues to evolve. And I am going to work up a battle plan to start wrapping up some of the loose ends in this town. Some of them.
That'll take about 40 more sessions.
Hey,
Roughly.
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, me neither. Except for directly.
Hey,
to the
you never
Jakob.
know. We might be able to go ahead and knock out 2 or 3 at a time. Then it's only going to be about 10 or 20 sessions.
Look, I'm not saying we couldn't do this the quick and dirty way and just kill everything that becomes a problem for us. That would only take a few sessions. The repercussions, however, probably not so great.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm pretty happy though with the way that this went down. It gave you guys an opportunity to kind of start wrapping some things up as opposed to being flung knee deep in the shit, because it's waiting. Trust me. Like the book basically says, don't wait, fling them directly into the bullshit right away. But I feel like you guys have gone through so much, and you need an opportunity to kind of soak a little bit, start moving the calluses away from the body. But it's not without a little work first. You're gonna have to work for that downtime. So is Shackled City pulling a filler session on us? I mean, it just depends. You guys decide if that was filler or not. I don't think so. I feel like it was a lot of loose ends that are starting to come together. I mean, there was a lot of information gathered there.
If you have to look at it one way, look at it like Sum 41's album, Fat Lip.
Damn. Damn.
Besides, it's kind of hard to go ahead and call this filler. We're still failing in wonderful fashion, at least on my front. Yeah, give me a will save. 4. Fuck.
4. Yep. Without fail. I can expect that much for certain. All right.
You can always count on me to fail.
So this is still a good opportunity if you guys wanted to, if you wanted to ask any questions, if you wanted to gauge our players, even though we're without Red at this point, that's a-okay. I still don't know what Red's new character is going to be. It's certainly just listed as Big Dick McGee right now.
That's his name, I'm telling you.
I don't think it is. And if it is, then I'm going to force him to change it.
It's Big Mick DeGee.
Don't do this to me. Not like this.
I'm not going to say it when he's here because I know it's going to be that if I do.
God damn
My
it.
name is Biggest Medicus.
God damn it. I hope it's not.
It's a very small name.
It's
It's big as Medicus.
Oh, Lord. All right. Is Sunn retiring? Yes, their Sunn is retiring. We're not going to see any more Sunn. I think he was just sort of tired. Tired of feeling relatively useless. It's not like I have a, I don't have a problem with it. I liked a lot about Sunn, but I don't think Sunn was designed with the play style that Red is used to playing. Does that make sense?
I think what it came down to is the fact that Red likes to play a character that's knee deep in the shit. He likes playing a martial character.
Yeah, very much so.
Some people like playing martial characters. Some people like playing the support role. Some people like being at range. And then there's people like Klaus.
There's really only person like Klaus. There's not people like me.
You're not wrong.
No. Assholes are an inclusive group.
God damn it. This guy. Are there pics of the characters?
Going on? I'm gonna fly in the corner.
Do we have pictures that we don't? Actually, we don't. I would love to get pictures of the characters, but the way that these guys go through characters, it would cost me a fucking fortune. To get character art made. So I would love to get something like that made, but it would be entirely on the idea of fan art. Someone would have a heyday with the amount of characters that they would have to go through. Just for the sake
I'm just worried
of
about
just for my sake, was it the nasty bug that Jakob was forced to swallow that affected him in the temple? Yeah, maybe, potentially. I mean, we've certainly narrowed it down to that, right? Like, I feel like that's definitely a possibility, but I don't want to just say that it wasn't, because it could be a number of things, It could be a whole lot of things, but I think it's one of those things where you just kind of gotta see, like, you gotta wait and see. I mean, even Pinterest shit, I can draw fish people really well. Do you want fish? I would... Murder Squid, I would love fish people versions. That would make me so very happy. That's Klaus now. Oh my god, it is Nicolas Cage. I don't think I can unsee it.
That
Very
is the picture we've used for his thing in Roll20 for a long time.
I haven't even realized it.
Yeah, if you look under the characters tab, it's in there.
Characters open.
Klaus. Yep, he has it on his bio.
It's loading. It's loading so slow. I don't see it, actually.
All right,
I have mine on my character sheet.
I believe you, but I just don't see it for whatever reason.
I totally forgot that I wrote this ridiculous description for myself.
Thanks for the entertainment, guys. I will draw fish people next session while drinking. Murder Squid, and everybody else that tuned in tonight, thank you guys so much for coming out. Sloth, it's good to see you here. Murder Squid, Lone Wolf, MVG, The Runt, Giant Rat Guy, Ranston, Karami, Denlara, Skags, everybody that came out. If I didn't call your name, it's nothing personal. Uber Ghost, Mighty, Teekus, I'm so happy to see Teek. Christy and crew, the lot of you, thank you guys so much for absolutely everything. Come back. Well, one, tomorrow, because I'm going to actually be here. Despite Gen Con happening, I'm going to be here to run that game. And then next week, let's start getting our numbers back up. I would love to see us return back to where we were and get some hype up in the chat, because we're closing in some serious territory in this book, in this game. And I'm stoked to see where we can take it. So thanks again, guys, for absolutely everything. We're going to go ahead and raid on over to JD Scientize. Love your faces.
That guy?
Yep, that guy right now. He's currently playing Resident Evil 5. Chris probably has nightmares about giant boulders all the time. It's a Lab Cats event. In the Book of Tyr, page 47, line 14, states that evil is a festering corruption that must be squeezed and popped like a pimple on the face of a pock-faced teenager before prom. Good God grossness. Love your faces, guys. Take it easy. Have a good one. Peace. We're out of here. Pow.
Well, I don't know about you, but that was awful fucking fun.
Give me just
Yeah, I enjoyed.
to shut this off.